Oh yeah, special video. Special video. We're gonna be taking a look at the Rancor. Hello, folks. Danoby2 here. Thank you for joining me once again on another visual tour. This is a special video. This is gonna be unique, very different. We're going to be unboxing and reviewing the Sideshow Collectibles Rancor Deluxe statue, which I want to say is 1/6 scale. If you do a little bit of math and a little bit of dividing and a little bit of algorithms implied there, this is a 1/6 scale Rancor. I wonder why they never just advertised it as a 1/6 scale Rancor. Comes in 2 boxes, and I want to say this is real quick, this is sold out too. Got this yesterday, super excited. This sucker is gone. I want to say it's gone into waitlist mode. That was one of the things that attracted me to this particular piece, is that it was a limited edition of 600 pieces that were being made. I love the little instruction pamphlet here showing you how to assemble your Rancor with the bolts and the twist and the levers and the base. I like that. I also like the front cover of this too, with the Rancor print there too. So, like that. This is one of those things that I was really looking forward to this. And I was on the fence for the longest. It wasn't until probably 2 months ago I decided to click the pre-order when I took the leap of faith. First impression on this base, I'm loving this base. Underneath the base, look how I like this. And if you're wondering what edition I have, it is 193 out of 600. If there's any collectors out there that are keeping track of who has which unit and what edition, I got 193. It would have been nice to have a rounded number like 200 or 300, but that's okay. It's still pretty good. It's still below the 200 mark. Still one of the early batches on there. The base. I wasn't sure how to react to the paint on this actual base here. It looks more of a mud surface. Maybe he was kept in a moisture kept cage underneath Jabba's palace. With this base, I probably would want a little bit more detail. It's not bad. It's not super great. Probably I'd give it, I don't know, a 7, maybe 7 or between 7 and 8. I can kind of improve this. I can get some, I live out in the desert. I can add a little bit, some stones and some dirt, some desert dirt, to kind of give it a little bit more of a realistic look. It's not bad, but it's not great either. But it'll do. It'll do. I do like the little the black trimmed around it, which is pretty neat. And if you see like the little white specks on it, that's just the dust and dirt. My camera just tends to capture everything. My camera sees everything. Let's grab the next piece out of this thing. It's the Rancor arm. This is the right arm. This is the right arm, and I was impressed. This is cool. I was just looking at the arm. I probably spent maybe 10-15 minutes just looking at this arm, kind of studying it. I was also looking for damage too. I have received items from Sideshow before that have arrived damaged, so that's one of the things I'm looking at here. I was like, I'm making sure it's okay. And a little quick Easter spoiler. My Rancor did arrive in perfect condition. Really did. No issues. Looking at the bolt mechanism on there, and I'm tapping on it here too because not that I care, but I wasn't aware that it was coming in as a fiberglass rotocasting resin mold, meaning that it is hollow inside. And my first thoughts to that, I was like, well, were they taking shortcuts with that? I wasn't sure. Was there some economics to it? It's not to be honest with you, it's not a deal breaker. I was just expecting more of a solid arm, but I could understand the logistics. Making a solid cold cast resin type arm, it'd be really heavy, and it would most likely increase the price. And also the mechanics as to actually attaching. If you made a solid kind of a cold cast piece on the Rancor, What would that do with the weight? What would that do with the price, the structural integrity, so forth? I want a little bit more detail. As I'm getting close to the camera here, I'd say probably maybe 2 or 3 feet away from the Rancor. It looks fantastic. But maybe the paint application probably could have used a little bit more sprucing. But again, it does not bother me that the Rancor is not solid. In fact, I had a really sour experience. This is not one of my first statues. You guys remember, I had the Blitzway Astronaut, the 1/4 scale spacewalk statue. This thing was huge and it weighed a ton. It was ridiculous. I'm talking like, really excited unboxing this, but this thing weighs a ton. I struggled probably for about 10 to 15 minutes trying to figure out how to pull this out without breaking it. It was outrageous. It was a beautiful piece, but it was extremely heavy, and it required 2 people to move the boxes. Not only that, though, I because of the extreme weight of the piece, the shipping was astronomical. I want to say it was about $350 from California, and then it arrived damaged. And then I will defend Sideshow. They did offer a replacement on it. I just didn't want to deal with it. It had exceeded the price point that I was comfortable with owning the piece because of the tax and the shipping. The shipping really was what did it, and I didn't want to jeopardize receiving another shipment broken. So anyway, let's get back to the Rancor. We're not talking about the astronaut here. This is the second box of the Rancor. Open up here, kind of absorbing the paint fumes, kind of grabbing a whiff. That styrofoam is an static charge. I wasn't sure what this piece was when I was unwrapping it here, but this is the back plate here. It's I guess I want to call it the turtle shell, the armadillo turtle shell. It's cool, very cool, very nice little piece there. And I kind of look at it. It's also magnetic too, which I discovered as I was attaching it. Kept on with a peg. What else we got here? And then we have the bottom portion. And again, when I finally get to the main bust of the Rancor, I actually appreciate that it is a fiberglass rotocasted piece. It makes it so much more to be able to pose it, to manage it. Look at that's a little aluminum rod on there. Oh yeah, that's an aluminum rod. It's kept on the base. I'm not sure if it would stand with or without. Well, it has the peg, so it couldn't stand without the actual base. More of a safety and a issue. And there's the shot of the tank there, in case anybody's wondering if it's a boy or a girl. Maybe I'll feist in it later. I don't know. Don't get me started. I like the this is just one of those toys I had as a kid from Kenner, and being able to just hold it and essentially play with it, because I do play with it at the end of the video. I don't care if it's a statue. If I can get some cool action figure poses with it, why not? The bust here, right here, and it's mysterious components. You know, I'm nosy. I'm like, oh, there's space inside here. Can I store something inside here? Can I store something inside the cavity of the Rancor? So I brought out the flashlight. In case you guys are wondering, you can see it's more of a fiberglass rotocast, and probably put on a machine and it's spun. That way it gets the fiberglass to stick to it. It's cool though. Don't stick your hand in there or something else. Fiberglass, when it makes contact with the skin, it's itchy. And here we go. Looking at the face, there's a face a mama would love, playing with the teeth. And again, this is just me. I'm inspecting it in case I have to repack everything and sharp teeth there. And like I said, I'm really happy that it did arrive. It was very well packed. My Jabba the Hutt arrived in perfect condition too from Sideshow. So it was just Blitzway. I blame Blitzway's packaging on that damn astronaut. What's missing is the wetness, the spit. When I think of the Rancor, I think of that scene where there's drool and spit. There should be spit and drool. It's too dry. It's like he's suffering from dry mouth. And I remember his eyes in the film. It was more of a fluorescent pearl. I don't like the one-tone paint application on the eyes. Something about the eyes, it could use a little bit improvement, but it's definitely more of the wetness of the teeth. I feel it should be drooling, and that's what's missing. It's not a bad piece. I really do love the Rancor, but it could definitely use that drool, that wetness. And I have a solution. Oh yes, I have a solution. Brace yourselves, folks. Commercial time. Oh yes. Yes, I'm going to be running a little ad here. The Gorilla Clear Gorilla. This stuff is fantastic. This stuff is like magic. This stuff, when it dries, it turns into a hard, clear resin. But what's beautiful about it, oh my God, what's beautiful about this is that when it dries and it hardens like adamantium, it creates a wet look. So I've used this stuff on all sorts of applications. I'm telling you, if you want that wet look. I've also discovered that if you mix in glow powder with the Gorilla Glue, here you go. This, if you've ever seen this stuff here, which is sensitive, it glows. If you take this powder here and you mix it in with the Gorilla Glue, you can create a solution that hardens like clear, wet resin, and it glows in the dark. And I ran a test on my Slimer here, and I'm going to tell you something right now. My Slimer under black light is fantastic, and you can see that wetness right there. That's hardened resin, but it still maintains this wet look. This is probably, I created this maybe a month ago, just back in early February, and you can see how when you shine a black light to it, it glows. Fantastic. So we're going to be using this resin. Link in the description for your own Gorilla Glue. That's what we're going to be using to improve our Rancor. But before we improve the Rancor, I have to assemble it. I got to see the final look of this bad boy. And again, it's massive. It's hard to capture the size and scale on video. And that was one of the things I'm like, I want to show the audience, like, this thing is big. So I made it a habit of, when I was attaching the arms and the bust, that you can see, have me in the picture as close as possible for scale. Let's go ahead and attach the back here. And with a few camera angles and my little friend here, Wicket, you can see the true scale of this. I love this piece. I really do. I love the Rancor. Something about Wicket, just ready to engage the Rancor as he's about to like chomp on him like a chicken nugget, is just it's just fantastic. So yeah, I late at night, this is right. I was playing with the Ewoks, like, I wonder what Wicket would do. And I think the Rancor would just probably just look at him, growl, and then probably just grab him and play with him like a little rag doll. I don't know if the Rancor would waste its time feeding on Wicket, but he definitely would grab him, and this is just a great piece. Again, there's he's chomping on. I was laughing by myself as he grabbed Wicket. Also, my little is it Delta? Yeah, my little Delta. My little raptor got curious and he wanted to see what was going on. Yes, I have a little baby raptor Delta. He was kind of curious to see what was going on. He's like, what's all the commotion? But you guys want to see Luke. It's Luke. It's all about Return of the Jedi, Luke Skywalker, and it's impressive. But I want drool, so let's get to work. Let's add a little bit of wetness to his teeth. Let's get him drool. Let's make him menacing. I took the part of the foam pad and the foam sheet, and I laid it underneath because Gorilla Glue, it drips, and that's what I want. I want the Gorilla Glue to drip, and I want to make it seem like he's just drooling. And I'm taking the fingers here, and the beautiful thing with Gorilla Glue is that it takes hours to dry. So if you make a mistake, or if you applied this glue to a spot that you don't, all you have to do is grab a terry cloth and wipe it off. I'm using the excess of the glue, and I'm smearing it on his teeth. And you can see that drip, and I want that drip. I want that to just make it seem. And I'm just applying underneath his mouth, on his teeth, and so forth. I will improve on his eyes. I know he has the fluorescent or beady eyes. I want black. I want like death, like you look into his eyes. I'm going to be using the black 3.0 paint. This is the darkest black color you can possibly achieve. And what's nice about it is it's a water-based acrylic. So if I mess up with my painting skills, a super heated wet terry cloth would wipe the paint off. So let it sit overnight, and this is the final result. I did this last night, give it about 8 hours, and there is the wet look to his teeth, and the resin underneath his chin is dried, so you can see as I'm touching it, it's hardened like adamantium. Love this stuff, love it, love it, love it. And I've gotten the wet look that I wanted and the wetness of his teeth, and I've applied the black 3.0 paint to his eyes, so it's darkness. It's like you're staring into darkness with his eyes. So I won't be doing any more mods or tweaks. I'm happy with the final paint that was delivered by Sideshow. I like the drool and the wetness to the teeth that I've applied with the Gorilla Glue. Again, this stuff hardens like resin. Fantastic stuff. Link in the description. If you're not using Gorilla Glue, you got to use it. And if you want to see what it looks like next to Jabba's palace, Luke is still concerned and worried. It's an impressive piece. You know, when it comes to statues from Sideshow, I will always take a gamble. It's their 1/6 scale figures that tend to suck, but their statue pieces for their price point rock. And if you want, even though I know it's not accurate to the film, that's fine. They've taken a creative license, as have I. I've taken my own creative license. I've added the drool in the eyes. I know that if you want a studio representation of the Rancor, I know Regal Robot does, but for $3K, the best of luck to you. I am happy with this. This is a great showpiece in my collection. Like, subscribe, leave your comments below. I am digging the Rancor from Sideshow.